What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, along with Tyler Stafford, coming to you after the Astros lost 4-2 to finish off an otherwise encouraging road trip through Cleveland and Pittsburgh. They have won 11 of their past 16 games, and they are guaranteed to enter Monday at least 2.5 games up in a division that, Tyler, is showing itself to be very mediocre. The Mariners have not played well the last couple of weeks. I cannot believe personally that the Rangers hiring a podcast host to be their hitting coach has not gone well. And the A's are just miserable in a minor league ballpark. This is a bad division. The Astros have clearly shown that if they play to their potential, that they can be the best team in this division. They can win this division. Not easily. I think it's going to be a dogfight, but this is certainly a winnable division that they have.
Yeah, and the schedule gets a lot easier for the Astros in the next month or two as well. So some more good chances to pile up some wins, which they've been doing. You know, they've been beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. They went on the road, took two series against. I mean, the Pirates are not anywhere near the same ballpark as Cleveland, but two series that you take on the road and you take those. You move on, and yeah, the Fangraphs has the Astros right now at 62% to win the division, which, I mean, even at their lowest like a month ago, it was still like 20-30% just because there was so much season left. But they have started, to build a lead in that division.
Yeah, 10 of their next 13 games are against the White Sox, the A's, and the Angels, which is advantageous. The three tougher games in there against the Minnesota Twins are all at Dyken Park, which should give them at least somewhat of an advantage, but because they've played well at home this year, unlike years past where they have not played well at home. Three games against the Guardians, pretty much all carbon copies of one another. Low scoring, good pitching. Have to manufacture some runs, some aggressive base running, some athleticism, some excellent defense. All three games. Tyler, what impressed you? What impressed you about these three games against the Guardians this series win?
Yeah, I liked after Dubon got the two outfield assists in the first inning of that game. No one on either side ran on any ball hit to left field the rest of the series. I guess they just figured, well, we saw it happen twice, so not going to make that mistake again. I think Christian Walker had one hit out there, and he stopped at first as well. So, yeah, really good defense. That catch by Jacob Melton was insane. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't believe 45% catch probability. That's what somebody said. Get out of here. That was awesome. It was a great catch. Uh, like you said, really good defense all around. Great pitching. I mean, today the Astros got a great start from. I mean, we keep saying it, but they're just throwing darts at the dartboard, and whoever wants to come up from Double A and Triple A, when you get a quality start out of a spot start guy. Um, well, I mean, our last podcast was about the farm system and how there's nobody here. And maybe that's true, but maybe the Astros just have 15 guys that can come up and provide, a little bit of help, which in the current iteration of the team is exactly what you need.
To be fair, Brandon Walter was signed
Yeah,
this past winter on a minor league deal. He is not a product of the farm system, but I do wonder, Tyler, you think he gets another start because
has to, right?
they're about to enter 13 games in a row after Monday's off day. Dana Brown said on the pregame show today that they're going to go to a 6-man rotation. To me, like, Brandon Walter has come up here, and the two lineups he has faced, granted, the two lineups he's faced are the Rays and the Guardians, both of whom are awful against left-handed pitching. So they've set him up in good situations, but you look at what he's done in the PCL, like, he has nothing more to prove in the minor leagues. And I think he deserves at least another turn in this rotation. Joe Espada seemed a little less committal today after the game, but I don't know who else they would go to. I think Brandon Walter certainly deserves another start.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you can't really argue with 6 innings, 2 runs. I mean, you'll take that every time. So until he stops doing that, I think that's your guy in the rotation.
You mentioned Jacob Melton. Does he have maybe the most like impressive 3 for 20, 8 strikeout start to his big league career? Because I mean, the at bats don't look like a guy that is 3 for 20 with 8 punch outs. Like the defense has been as advertised. He is fast as hell. And he's going to have a little bit of a runway here. Like as long as DeZenzo, McCormick, and Alvarez remain on the IL, I'm not saying he's going to play every day, but they can give Cam Smith a day off if they want to and put Melton in right field. I know as much as that would pain you,
Hmm.
they can. They're obviously Altuve's not going to be out there every day in left field. They have the DH spot open. He's a left-handed bat. Like he's going to get as pretty close to regular at bats as you can while those three guys are on the IL. And if he can produce a little bit at the plate, like I think it opens up a lot of doors for them.
Yeah, and did you know he hits left-handed?
I do. Yeah.
I'm wondering if Espada is aware of that as well. I feel like he might pencil in somebody who hits left-handed. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think I even knew that he was 3 for 21 because you're right. It doesn't feel like that watching him. You know, he takes pitches well. He's putting together good at bats. You know, those hits will fall. But he's he's looked good again. Another guy that's just all right. Here you go. This guy's ready to go. See what happens. But yeah, they really haven't had anybody come up so far this year and just fully embarrass themselves. Uh, that is currently on the team. That's a caveat.
I thought Sparky had an interesting like tidbit today in the when he was doing the color on the radio broadcast. It was when Melton made that great play in left field. I forget who he dove and robbed, but he made that great play. And Sparky goes, "I can see why he gets hurt all the time because he's throwing his body everywhere." And I mean, that's how you like. That's what you like to see from guys. Like he had his reckless abandon, like on a hurt back, on a hurt groin. Like Melton's, I mean, he's in the big leagues now. He's got to prove his worth. But like it is fun to see. And I think this dovetails into a bigger point, Tyler. And this was something that last year I know Joe Espada mentioned at points last year and even going into the offseason. Like the one thing that this Astros team has that last year certainly didn't, and the ones previous, like they're athletic and they're like
Hmm.
energetic. Like you see Melton, Cam Smith is obviously a bundle of energy and athleticism. Jeremy Peña, now that he's getting on base and becoming the Jeremy Peña we thought we were going to see for the last 2 years. Jake Myers having the great year he's having with his speed. Like, it is more fun to watch this team when those guys are going because of the energy.
Yeah, I mean they've been moving all over the place. Like you said, lots of great defense. You mentioned Sparky saying that today on the TV broadcast when Melton made that play in right field. Blum and TK spent a good inning and a half every time the camera cut to Melton, just going like, "Ah, I hope he's okay. Like, I hope he's all right." I mean, he never showed any sign of being in pain, but they spent a good bit putting good vibes out there just to make sure that he was okay. So yeah, they've been a fun team to watch. The pitching has been good too. So you know that lends itself to good baseball games to watch. But you're right. There's a younger vibe. There's a more athletic vibe this year, and you know it's certainly been entertaining to watch so far.
Yeah, and we always kind of roll our eyes in spring training when the manager comes out and says we want to be more aggressive on the bases this year, or we want to do this differently, and usually that's all eyewash. Usually that's just things to like get them through the 6 weeks of spring of like what they're going to work on the backfields. But like give Tony Paris Chica, the new base running instructor, give Joe Espada, give this entire coaching staff a lot of credit because this team is running the bases about as good as you can for a team that was not known for this, a team that was not known for aggressive base running, that was kind of station to station, very much hope you can move 90 feet and then someone hits a ball over the fence so you can jog in. Like, again, part of that is Jake Myers getting on base more. Part of that is Jeremy Peña getting on base more. But it's guys like Isaac Paredes, like Jose Altuve, as we know, will take chances on the bases. But everyone is they're running the bases really hard and aggressive because they have to, because this lineup, as it is shown, is not one that's going to slug its way to 7 runs a night. They're going to have to manufacture some runs just like they did this weekend against Cleveland.
Yeah, and it's been working. Like we said, you know they've been in a really good run here, and hopefully they can carry that over in these weaker teams that they're going to see in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you'll see the Chicago White Sox the next 3 days. That will it's a revenge series, I think. Remember, the White Sox did take 2 of 3 from them
Like
in
two.
April. Do you think revenge is on their mind, Tyler, against the Pale Hose?
Oh, for sure. They've had it circled on the calendar. These fools are not gonna beat us again. But we'll see. I mean, that's classic Astros too, to rise to uh, harder competition and then just get beat by weak competition. So who knows? Maybe we've been hyping up these 11 games over the next 2 weeks or whatever, and they're going to go 4-9. So we'll see. But the team's playing well right now. I don't see that happening. They've been really good over the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
yeah, this is the best and most consistent stretch of baseball they've had all season. And I don't even think that's close, and it's why they've opened up their biggest division lead of the season. Let's go now to our Arena Club Player of the Week segment. So, Tyler, All Star voting started this week. Fan voting, you can go if you follow the Astros on X or anywhere, you can see that fan voting is upon us. And I think the guy that the Astros have to do a good job of marketing and the Astros have to do a good job of pushing their fans to vote for is Jeremy Peña, who we're going to see right here. His Arena Club card is gonna play right here. Tyler, I find All-Star game in general, as long as you get elected, it's great. I find like starting, not starting, whatever. But I think Jeremy Peña is clear and away the most ideal candidate to start for the American League at shortstop of the All-Star game thus far.
Yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable so far this year. He has already, or very close to, matching his WAR from last year. He's at 4 already this year. He was at 4.1 last season. So it's not just, hitting. I mean, he's hitting for more power. He's getting on base a lot more. His defense is as good as ever, and he's running really well too. His base running value has been off the charts good throughout the season. And you're right. There's really great competition. Jacob Wilson for the Athletics has been really really great. And then obviously there's Bobby Witt Jr., who is unbelievable. Both of those guys are more than deserving of being in the All Star game. But looking at any numbers you want to, Jeremy Pena has hung around 2, 3, 4 overall most valuable player in baseball this year. Everyone is chasing Aaron Judge and will continue to chase Aaron Judge throughout the year. But Jeremy Pena has been, like I said, consistently right behind him for most of the year. And he deserves to start that All Star game. He's been better than the other guys that he's competing with, and there's no reason for it other than, like you said, it's an exhibition game, and you may want to have other popular players there or whatever. But that's why the Astros have to do a really good job of highlighting just how good he's been. And it's not like Jeremy Pena is a nobody. This is a guy that won World Series MVP his rookie season. So, it's certainly somebody with name recognition, and he's fun to watch, man. It's not like it's going to be difficult to put together a highlight reel showing, all the great things that he's done so far this season.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, this is at the end of the day, it comes down to a popularity and a marketing contest to who starts the game. Like Jeremy Pena is getting in the All Star game. Like,
Yeah.
let's not kid ourselves. Like he is going to be in Atlanta. Whether he starts the game, look, they have a fan vote for that. Um, Again, the two guys that I think he will be in competition with the most, Bobby Witt Jr., who is among the faces of baseball right now. You see him everywhere. You see his face and his long flowing hair is everywhere. Jacob Wilson is really the only reason to watch the A's at this point. And MLB has marketed him pretty heavily because he's hitting like 350. His dad was a former big leaguer. Again, he's got, he is the reason to tune into the A's right now. So Jeremy Pena, on a team that has Altuve, on a team that has Alvarez, on a team that has guys that are pretty name brands, Pena can get lost a little bit, especially after having that little dip after the ALCS and World Series MVP in 22. But the Astros, and I'm not putting this all on the Astros. Like the fans have to vote too. But this is a situation where the Astros are really going to have to go into overdrive here if they want Pena to start the All-Star game because Bobby Witt Jr. is, I think when most casual fans think of shortstops in the American League, Bobby Witt Jr. is first. And then, Jacob Wilson's getting all the hype for never swinging and missing and hitting 350. Like, Jeremy Peña is not the first person you think of. And I think the Astros are going to have to do a good job of finding a way to get him into everybody's consciousness. We just saw that Jeremy Peña card. Let's rip open a slab pack right now to see what we can get from Arena Club. And who are we going to get out of this slab pack? We are going to get Ken Griffey Jr. Ooh, nice. He
doesn't bode well for competition against Bobby Witt Jr., another superstar's son. So that's pretty sick. I like that one.
Great card.
Do you collect cards at all?
I don't. I used to when I was little. I don't anymore, and I need to start because Arena Club is that good. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and use the code foul. That's arenaclub.com/foul, code foul for 20% off your first purchase. All right, Tyler, we had a death is a strong word. It certainly was not a death, but a familiar face is on the precipice of being gone from the Astros organization, and that's Forrest Whitley. Forrest Whitley was designated for assignment today to make room for Brandon Walter to start today's game. It was not a surprise because the way the bullpen's set up, the only two guys with options in that bullpen down there are minor league options are Brian King and Bennett Souza, neither of whom is pitching poorly enough to warrant an option. Forrest Whitley, he had become a mop-up reliever. The last 3 games he had gotten into, there was a 10-run separation between the teams when he got in, and he still managed to allow 8 runs in 4 2/3 innings during those appearances. It wasn't working. Never has it felt like a guy needed a change of scenery more than Forrest Whitley. But Tyler, it's a hard lesson, and it's a lesson that I think a lot of Astros fans never had to learn because Alex Bregman came up and was great. Carlos Correa came up and was great. Kyle Tucker came up and was great. Jordan Alvarez came up and was great. Prospects don't always hit. And Forrest Whitley, everyone had to learn that the hard way, that this was a tough one. This was a tough one for the organization, a tough one to swallow all around.
Yeah, I mean, one, I would push back and say I watched a whole lot of Mark Appel, so I definitely have been through this at least once before. But yeah, I mean, you feel for Forrest Whitley. He's obviously battled a ton of injuries throughout his career, things that are out of his control. And look, his stuff is still good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he can land somewhere and find that consistency and be able to put together. He's still young, relatively young compared to me. I'm old and have 3 kids, so 27 seems very young. It is wild that he's 27 because he was just 17, 18 when the when the Astros drafted him. So it's crazy to see him become 27 and DFA'd. But yeah, you're right. I mean, look, all of the outlying things are there. Like you said, I mean, everyone talks about his work ethic, the effort that he's put in to come back from being healthy in the past couple of years. Again, I mean, he's got a great fastball. He's got a ton of, off-speed pitches that, he's able to throw it. It's a surprise sometimes that he's not able to be as effective as you would think he would be able to. Obviously last year in AAA, he was very effective. That's why everybody came into this year thinking, okay, this is somebody that can contribute at the major league level. I certainly thought that, especially after speaking to a bunch of people throughout the offseason, that certainly seemed like somebody the Astros were high on. But, it just didn't happen. And so I'm trying really hard not to make a forest for the trees joke here. So just appreciate that I didn't go there. But yeah, I wish him the best of luck. Someone is going to take a flyer on a first round pick that throws 97, 98 and is 9 feet tall and has never had a real shot at the big leagues. I hope it works out for him. But Yeah, it's the end of an era for sure.
Yeah, some procedural stuff for how this works. So the Astros DFA'd him today, which is Sunday. They have 7 days now to either trade him or get him through waivers. When he's on waivers, all 29 other teams have a chance to claim him. The Colorado Rockies are going to get the first chance because they're the worst team in the league, all the way down, and it goes by order of record. So bad teams will get the first chance, and then good teams will get the last chance if he falls to them. Like you said, Tyler, I can't imagine he goes unclaimed.
No.
He can still throw 99. He's got 2 fastballs that, I mean, and Joe Espada has said repeatedly, like the stuff, it is not a stuff problem. Like, I think this is a classic situation where Forrest Whitley gets in any other uniform where he is not quote unquote Forrest Whitley. He's
Mm-hmm.
just another guy in the bullpen that they can give some runway to on a team maybe that is not going to contend for much. You kind of look at who could claim him, and you start to look at teams that aren't really invested this year in results. They're invested more in development and see what they have. That makes a lot of sense. But the thing that's going to hurt Forrest Whitley is he doesn't have minor league options left. So if a team does claim him and he comes to they've got to put him on the 26-man roster because they can't option him because he has no options left. If he comes and is just as unproductive as he was with the Astros on those teams, even the teams that aren't trying to win, like they're still not going to have a ton of stomach for a guy that can't come in and get out. So that may hurt him a little bit, but I'd be surprised honestly if a team does not claim him now because Whitley has less than 3 years of major league service time. If a team doesn't claim him and he passes through waivers, he can't elect free agency. He's not allowed. Usually for a DFA for a guy that has more than 3 years of service time, when they clear waivers, they can either accept an outright to that club's AAA affiliate or they can elect free agency. Whitley can't elect free agency. So there is a possibility he could stay in the Astros organization, just not on the 40-man roster. But again, I'd be surprised if a team, because the team's going to get a free look at him. The Astros are covering all but the prorated portion of his salary, which is the major league minimum. So again, even these teams that are cost conscious, it's a free look at a guy that was a top 15 pick at one point and was one point the best pitching prospect in baseball. Tyler, let's reflect back a little bit. I wasn't on the beat when the Astros drafted Whitley. I started on the beat in the spring of 2018 when Whitley, I think, had just incurred the drug suspension. Can you take me back to what the hype was like about him? Because I only got a little bit of the hype. I didn't get the full-fledged from the moment they drafted him and everyone. And, he was in AA by the time he was 19. What was the hype like for him?
It's big, man. Again, the Astros hadn't had a really noticeable pitching prospect like that because, you know, uh, Mark Appel was flaming out. Lance McCullers was already up in the big leagues, and the other thing that I think hurt Whitley was this was the first draft pick that the Astros had that wasn't in the top 5 picks. So
Yeah.
everyone just expected whoever the Astros took first in the first round was going to be some superstar level talent. And again, Whitley had that. It's not like it was just Astros fans hyping up Whitley. He was a consensus,
Yeah.
very, very high prospect. And coming from San Antonio too, that's always fun when you can get somebody from Texas. That means a lot to people in Texas. And you watch highlights of him in the Alamo Dome for his playoff run and stuff in high school. People were pumped, man. And then, like you said, I mean, he shot up the minor leagues. I mean, he was doing really, really well before, like you said, the suspension and then just injuries took over, and he never was able to put it back together. Um, and it was rough. I mean, anytime you saw him pitch, it was like, oh yeah, this is a real guy. Like this guy can throw hard. He's huge. His strikeout numbers were always absurd in the minor leagues. Like even now, he has 12.4 strikeouts per nine in the minor leagues. But I mean, he doesn't have a single one in Baseball Reference under 10 at any affiliate other than one or two that he was there for like a day. So yeah, I mean, people were pumped for Forrest Whitley. It looked like a guy that, okay, this guy's going to come up and you can count on him, being there every fifth day for a long time. And it just never happened. But the hype was there for a good while, until the last year or two, when it really started to fall off. But yeah, it's sad to see. You want these guys to be successful. There's no hard feelings, certainly on my end anyway. Maybe the YouTube comments will have different opinions, but you wanted him to succeed and it just didn't happen.
A couple like things I want to dispel really quickly. Because we often say drug suspension, I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that equate that to performance enhancing drugs. Forrest Whitley did not get suspended for a PED. He got suspended for a drug of abuse. To this day, I do not know what drug he got suspended for, but he did not take steroids. Or at least did not test positive for steroids. This was not a PED suspension. So let's get that out of the way first. Tyler, I think another thing this shows, like, I think a lot of people forget, like, Forrest Whitley was 17 years old when he got
Yeah.
drafted. Like, and you mentioned like how well he's handled this, recently. I don't think that was always the case. And Forrest Whitley, I wrote a story. He was very candid in his comments to me about a month ago, calling himself an embarrassment, saying it's an embarrassment every time he goes on the injured list, feeling like he's let a lot of people down. And talking to him for that story and remembering when I talked to him like at first in 2018, 2019, it was like talking to a different person. And at one point, like we actually started discussing this, and I don't know how much of it made the story, but like it's really tough to grow up essentially like in the public eye. And look, he got $3.2 million. He signed for $3.2 million. Like money is great. And like he got paid handsomely to grow up in the public eye. But like that doesn't make it easy. And I think Forrest Whitley had a lot of like maturing to do. And I think he did that. Like he really did. He got a lot more mature from the day he stepped into this professional organization until Sunday when he got designated for assignment. I think that gets forgotten a lot with these guys, like especially guys that get drafted out of high school. Like these are still kids when they get drafted, and you give a kid $3.2 million, and you tell him for the first year and a half he's in pro ball that you're the best pitching prospect that anybody's ever seen. Nolan Ryan's out here giving quotes that like he's one of the better high school arms he's ever seen. Like that inflates you a little bit. And it's really hard to just grow up in the public eye, for lack of a better word. And I think more fans should maybe be, I don't want to say empathetic, because again, the money is there. You get paid handsomely to do this. But before you just automatically to criticize, automatically to say some things that are like your first blush things you want to say, like just remember that these are human beings too, and that it's really hard to do this with an entire industry looking at you, an entire organization looking at you. It's a hard job. And Forrest Whitley, credit to him because he matured a lot in the last 2 or 3 years in the Astros organization.
Yeah, I think another thing that fans will remember too is, during all of the trade talks throughout his prospect status, the Astros would routinely say, look, there's only two untouchable guys. It's Forrest Whitley and Kyle Tucker.
Mhm.
And then Kyle Tucker comes up and becomes a superstar. He's going to get $400 million this offseason. And so I think that equates a lot of that as well, of like, this guy also should be able to perform that way. And I I mean, looking back, like, yeah, he should have been untouchable at the time. Like he was a first round pick. He threw just crazy stuff. I get why he was untouchable. Um, but I think that's another reason that fans, hyped him up in the same way. And again, I don't just mean fans. Like he was universally regarded as
Yes.
one of the better prospects in baseball, and it just didn't work out. I mean, he missed 3 seasons. One was COVID, and then suspension and injury. So he basically didn't play from the end of 2019 to 2022. I mean, he missed a good chunk of development. Um, you know, we'll see what happens, but hopefully, like we said, he'll be able to stick somewhere. I mean, there's another very tall pitcher who threw really hard that didn't put it together until he was 27. So watch out, world, for the Randy Johnson era of Forrest Whitley's career as that comes on the back end now.
You said it, you heard it here first.
Uh-huh.
The right-handed Randy Johnson is
Mm-hmm.
coming to your organization soon. Can we marvel very quickly that Jeff Luhnow acquired Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke when Forrest Whitley still had cachet? Forrest Whitley
Yeah.
was still like a dude when he acquired those three guys. That he was able to acquire those three pitchers without giving up Whitley or Tucker remains incredible.
And good news, the Astros still have someone from the first round of the 2016 draft on their roster. Would you like to know who it is?
2016 draft on
Mm-hmm.
on the 26 man currently.
No, but
Oh,
they have him in the organization. It's Taylor Trammell. He was drafted in the comp round of round
wow.
one of 2016. So watch out, replacing one with the other.
That ended up not being a good draft, right? Do you have it
No,
pulled
there's
up? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Mickey Moniak went number one. I mean, there's really nobody in the top draft at all. The best player from that draft in the first round was the Dodgers' second pick in the first round, Will Smith. They
Oh,
took Gavin Lux 20th, a couple spots after the Astros took Whitley. But yeah, Will Smith really ended up being the only major league regular. There really isn't anybody from that draft worth worth much.
so at least the Astros can take solace in that. That
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah,
was a bad
they
it was a
didn't
bad
miss on
draft,
like Mike Trout
right?
after. Yeah,
It's not like Mike Trout went 2 picks after Forrest Whitley,
yeah,
and we're here like still discussing that.
yeah.
Let's hear from our friends at Foul Territory one more time, and then we'll talk about the rotation going forward right after a message from our friends at Foul Territory.
I just want to say, before Arena Club, if you were trying to very actively buy, sell, trade, it was very complicated and used a lot of mail that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to do it, but I'm glad we have Arena Club now because it's a one-stop shop for everything card related.
It is. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FOUL. Use code FOUL. If you're a collector, you've got to check out Arena Club. Go get after it.
All right, Tyler. Ryan Gusto is going to start on Wednesday against the White Sox. He's listed as the team starter, so that means he's going to go out there. It has not gone well for him the last 5 or 6 starts. The Astros are 0-4 in his last 4 starts. Some of that is not his fault. They scored 0 runs in his last start. Gusto can't swing the bat.
That
But
we know of.
that we know
haven't
of.
let him try.
Lance McCullers is a World Series RBI, so
Mhm.
let's get him in. Let's get him in. I think he bats left-handed too, doesn't he?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think McCullers is left-handed.
I think you're right.
I think he is a left-handed hitter. So if
Yeah.
Melton needs one of those days off for his back,
Yeah, that's what it is.
DH McCullers. I wonder how long the leash is here with Ryan Gusto. We talked about earlier that Brandon Walter pretty much deserves a spot in the rotation, but if they're going to expand it to 6, that still leaves Gusto's spot as one that they have to take. So he's going to pitch on Wednesday, against a really bad White Sox team. It's an opportunity for him to keep his spot in the rotation. And if not, Tyler, I wonder if they go to Miguel Ulloa, who is pitching really, really well in AAA, was just the PCL pitcher of the month in May. As we talked about with Jeff from Baseball America last time out, often doesn't know where it's going. He's only throwing, I believe, 58% strikes. He's walking almost 6 guys per 9 innings, but he's missing enough bats. He's got enough strikeout stuff to keep the ball out of play, and he's pitching well enough to force a conversation. So do you think Ryan Gusto is pitching for his rotation spot on Wednesday?
I certainly think so. I mean, there's nothing that you're looking at that goes, oh, he's just missing this one piece to put it together. I mean, again, he's in a spot that he wasn't planning on, being in. No one expected the Astros to ask for Ryan Gusto to start every 5 days at the beginning of the year, or at least I hope not. That was not the plan. He's been good in relief. I could certainly see him, finding a home there. But yeah, I mean, he's only going 3 2/3 every start anyway. So even when you look at Ulloa coming up, it's like, yeah, he's he doesn't know where it's going. He might not be able to go 5 innings. But it's like, well, neither can Gusto. So, maybe try that out. I certainly think this is going to be the show me start. If you're not able to get 5+ innings against the White Sox, it's probably time to look at another option.
Yeah, and to be fair, Gusto pitched okay against the Pirates the other night. Like, had some awful BABIP luck, had a lot of soft hits, a lot of ground balls with eyes that got through. But still, he went 4 1/3 innings. Like, his problem is twofold. One, he doesn't get any swing and miss.
Yeah.
The swing and miss he does get is with his fastball, and teams know that. So they're basically just laying off any fastballs he throws and making him throw his secondary pitches, which are not kind of evolved yet. Like, he just doesn't have that one put away pitch, that one breaking pitch or secondary pitch to get guys off of his fastball. So because of that, when he does get ahead in counts, when he gets ahead 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, there's nothing to put guys away. So they're spoiling bad secondary pitches foul. He's spraying his fastball because he doesn't want to throw hittable fastballs in the middle of the zone. And it's just not there. He is not a finished product yet. He's not a guy right now that can get through an order 2 or 3 times. And the Astros don't want him to. The Astros are trying very hard to only get him 2 times through the order, which, I asked Joe Espada after his last start whether they consider using an opener. And he said they're not there yet in terms of where they are. But I do wonder if that would be beneficial, because at least when you use an opener, you kick the third time through the order penalty like 2 innings down the road. So you're not completely obliterating your bullpen in the 4th inning. If you're obliterating your bullpen in like the 7th inning, then it's okay. And plus, if you throw a reliever or an opener out there for the first inning, first 5-6 outs, like, I know the Astros have been awful early in games, but it does give your offense at least a chance to give him some support, give him some cushion to where when he goes out there, maybe he's got a 2-run lead and he doesn't have to worry about being so perfect on every pitch, take some pressure off. But they're grasping at straws at this point. Like, I think you're right. I think a Wednesday against the White Sox, like, if it's not markedly better, and by markedly better, I mean he's on the mound in the 6th inning, maybe they score 2 or 3 runs off of him, but it depends on how that looks. But I think right now, like, they're okay if he allows a couple of runs. Like, it's about giving them some length so they don't have to run through their bullpen every night. And especially, they're about to start a stretch of 13 games in a row and 19 games in 20 days. They can't be running through their bullpen that early in that stretch of games.
And again, his stuff plays better in the bullpen because you're only seeing a handful of guys. You can throw that fastball, which is your best pitch, way more than you're doing it. Currently, you don't have to hide behind your weaker secondary offerings, and you can just get outs, over the course of an inning or two. And so I do think that's where he ends up finding a home on the team. So, yeah, hopefully it goes better, but I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see Yolo come up.
I could be soon. Can you name 5 White Sox that aren't Luis Robert or Andrew Benintendi?
Shoeless Joe Jackson. Okay. And I think that's it.
Jeff Blum.
Jeff Blum. Okay. Scott Pasednik.
Chad Qualls. Did Chad Qualls play for the White Sox?
I think feels like he did.
He helped them win a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who else.
Jim Thome.
Joe Creedy.
Okay. We're crushing it.
Yeah, we're good.
I literally know
who is Chase Mydroth. He's their leader in WAR.
Okay.
He's another American League shortstop. So
okay, watch out. The competition. You got to hold him
the
down.
competition is growing for Jeremy Peña because Chase
Mydroth sounds like a dive bar cocktail. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going to go with.
His baseball reference his baseball reference headshot looks like he should be like the
he looks like he should be
egg. Yeah, he looks like he should be the president of Kappa Sig at Georgia. Like, honestly. God, who are these guys?
I don't know.
Michael A. Taylor's on the White Sox.
Sure.
Corey Lee got optioned the other day. He would have been on the White Sox, but he got optioned the other day. Speaking of former Astros first round draft picks, we're just bringing it full circle today.
Yeah, there you go. Travis Jankowski.
Hey, he can fly, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a team over there.
Adrian Hauser.
Oh, okay. Watch out. Astros legend.
Martin Perez, but I think he blew his arm out. I don't think he's active anymore.
Well,
This is great stuff. We're just sitting
Mhm.
here like wondering who's on the White Sox. I'll soon find out. And when I find out who's on the White Sox, you can come back to Crush City territory, and I will try to tell you all about them after the Astros play them 3 times at Dyken Park this week before the Twins come to town with some faces and names you should recognize: Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Joe Ryan, Zebby Matthews, another name that everyone should recognize. But a 6-game homestand coming up for the Astros against the American League Central. 3 games against a bad team, 3 games against a resurgent team. So we'll see how that goes. You can come back to Crush City territory and we'll tell you all about it. Please, as always, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify. I saw someone today complaining that they only listen to the show on Spotify and they want Spotify giving their love. So I'm giving Spotify their love. Go rate and review us on Spotify as well as Apple. Subscribe on YouTube. We just went over 2,000 YouTube subscribers, which is a big deal for us. So if you can get us to 3,000, that'd be great. Just like Jose Altuve wants 3,000 hits, we want 3,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to the Crush City Territory YouTube channel. You can get alerted every time we go live or every time we post a new episode. You can follow me on X, as always, at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford, where he's going to go look at the White Sox baseball reference page in a couple minutes and make a ton of puns about whoever is on their team, and you can like and retweet them and get his follower count up as well. As always, we appreciate you guys listening, and we will be back soon. Thanks.
Bye.